Hey, it's me, Unapologetically T, and I've been doing poems, but I don't feel like I've done a T's inner thoughts in a little while, and I'm just lighting sage. Um, my little demon teenager, she don't like sage. She has not liked sage since a kid, like a young kid. She used to hate when me and Dante would go backstage and light it in the house. I was like, we irritating your little demons. But yeah, to this day, she still don't like it. I told her when she get older, she'll like it. I lost a little leaf. But, yeah, just clearing some energy. And I did learn that, like, sage isn't always best for the environment we live in. I think it was better for, like, if you're, I think I was taught it was better if you were in, like, you learn the different like landforms and stuff. So like plains, like the plains areas, those sage works better in those type of environments. However, you still can use sage. But I do have lots of different types of sage. So I don't just burn white sage. I burn different types. And I do palo. So palo cleanses negative energy. Sage cleanse all energy. So just know what you're doing it for. It's all about intention anyway. But I just wanted to do the video because I haven't done one in a while. And I do have a lot of content that I am going to record today just because I've gotten a lot of different downloads over the last few days. I literally had to take some time to myself, excuse me. September was pressure. If I had to give September a word, September was pressure. September was pressure. And October is the release, baby. Like, I feel like as soon as October the 1st came, I was like, thank you. Thank you. I feel the Libra skills balancing. Like, I feel myself balancing out, but I do feel so extremely tired. And I started feeling like that towards like the end. Excuse me. I lip dry. I just needed to adjust. But I literally have used this lip gloss. This lip gloss forever. I have used this lip gloss forever. It's Diamond Glow. That's where I get it from. Like, I mean, years. Like, I've used this lip gloss since college. Like, and it's been a long time since college. But yeah, I get that shit from the like the Asian hair store. Like, and I buy it like when they're bad. I buy like a couple of them because I just love how it make my lips look. But yeah, if you know, like if you're a down to earth girly, like some shit you like the cheaper version. And then some stuff you just can't settle for the cheap version. So yeah. I don't know. I just thought about that. Like, I've been using that lip gloss for years, like same color, same brand for years. So whoever makes Diamond Glow, kudos to you. I do know a lot of companies just throw their labels on stuff, so I don't know if this is actually made by this brand or if it is a wholesale and someone just put their label on it. So either way, I love it. Keep making it. But yeah, so I'm a freestyle. I did take some notes of things that I wanted to talk about, but I'm just gonna freestyle because that's usually what I do. Yeah, so September. So September was awesome, but it was also pressure. September I was able to launch my business website. So I had started my business like in April of 2024, and I literally, was facing eviction and all that stuff. If you've been following my story, so I was facing eviction. And I think Charlotte's grandfather hit me up out of the blue one day and was like, what do you guys need? And I just told him basically like, I can't ask nobody to pay my rent because my rent was crazy high. And I mean, everybody's rent is crazy high right now because after COVID-19, things happen. So for the worse for the economy, and it's like corporations are catching up on, a missed profit. Even though they got a lot of bailouts, they still are catching up on missed profit because, everything is pushed by greed. So out of nowhere, the housing market exploded. All that stuff just became high. And I was just leaving. I've been transparent about everything. So like I had left my relationship and things on Thanksgiving of 2020. Oh God, hold on one second. This is my child. Hey, I'm back. My bad. Kid call. Gotta answer. Y'all want to know she was on it? It's nothing major. But yeah. What did I leave off? I don't know where I left off at. Let me think. I should have figured it out before I pressed the record button again. So I guess I was talking about September, and I started this business, and I was just recapping. In case you're new to the channel, like I was recapping Thanksgiving. Hold on one more time. All right, I'm back again. Third time. All right, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back and I'm cleansing the energy again. It was nothing major, but we was having like transportation difficulties for the bus. Her bus driver is usually punctual, and things weren't lining up, so we were wondering what was going on with that. But everything is resolved now, and hopefully like there's no more interruptions. Matter of fact, her call will come through anyway, but I'm about to put this on a little ring, so if it ain't her, I won't be disturbed. All right. So yeah, Thanksgiving September was precious. So like Thanksgiving of 2022, I left my partner of 11 years. And it was not like mutual breakup. It was definitely a tumultuous, strategic thing that I had to do to make sure me and my daughter was safe. And things definitely was very, 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 very hard. I reflect on those things. I reflected on those things in September. Even in August, I had started doing work to like release a lot of the pain, and just even before the move, before the death, there's a lot of pain stored up, a lot of trauma, and a lot of dysfunction that I hadn't necessarily dealt with from that relationship. Because there was a lot of things that kind of led me up to even deciding to be in that relationship. So I was working on all those things and working on self-love that, I never really kind of like touched a lot of the abuse that I endured. And it's a very complex situation because this is a person that I loved, and he did have good sides and he was a good person at his core. However, it didn't always show up like that, and he was fighting his own demons, and by me being with him, I had to fight demons with him that weren't mine, and vice versa. Like, he had to fight demons that wasn't his. So it was definitely a lot of pain and toxicity that I'm letting go. I did a big release when I got my Reiki attunements a big release happened for a lot of that. It was like a weight was lifted off my shoulder. But in September, I noticed that I was going through my phone and my notes from like 2019, 2020, 2021, even 2022, right up before I left. And I had notes in 2023, but I had slowed up writing in 2023. I think a lot of my like emotions had shut down by the time we got to 2022 leading into the 2023 year. I think I was just numb. But looking back on the years prior, I was definitely numbing in that too. But there were moments of, I was of course feeling my feelings and I was documenting a lot of stuff. So it was interesting. It was sad reading some of the stuff that I documented, which made me of course have to relive it because I've been open and honest about how, like, when I go through severe trauma, I typically dissociate and I typically, don't always run the show. But a lot of the traumas that happened, like, I did have memories of them because, I just did. And I think that I had to be present a lot during that relationship because it was like if I wasn't present, I wasn't present all the time. I want to make that clear, but there were a lot of times that I had to be present because if I wasn't, then that meant my daughter wouldn't, have me. And there were times where she needed me and I wasn't present. I was physically there, but I wasn't present. Find somebody else to do it. But I'm not doing that shit no more. No. Like, I can't. Unless it's like some other shit. But yeah, I was just put in a position where I was looking, literally what drew me there was I was looking at older poems I had made. A lot of my older poems were definitely pain in them. A lot of the journal entries were painful to read, but and it's just like, oh my gosh, like I watched like how I went from saying like, oh, why does he keep doing this to me? Why, why does he keep doing this to me? To I saw like this buildup of self-esteem and strength slowly like building up, and that turned into, it stopped from being from why does he keep doing this to me to God, give me the strength to get out of here. God, give me the strength to get out of here. And I think that's why I'm so appreciative of September, even though it was pressure, like, but September was the reflection of I made it through this. Like, I was very afraid upon leaving. I was afraid while there. But I think leaving was just as bad or worse. Because when I left, it triggered something in him where it was almost like in his mind, I was coming back, and I do play a part in that, and I had to, learn my enemy. And I knew that if I just was like, this is it, this is the end, like I literally wanted to leave and be a thief in the night. However, I was being tracked. I wasn't even aware of being tracked while I was living there, but I did used to have to share my location with him. And it got to a point where it was like I just didn't even want to do that anymore. But I used to like share my location with him just because I didn't want to rock the boat. And but I did get to a point where it was like, the fuck, like why am I sharing my location with you and it's not even about safety? I wouldn't mind sharing my location with him if it was about safety. But sharing my location with him was about arguments. And and it was like I wasn't even leaving the house, y'all. Like that was the most insane part to me. So it was like something in me just rebelled. It was like, fuck that. Like, why are you, doing all these things to appease him when he's literally the one who's always, cheating. He's the one that's always into some shit. Like he's the one always gone. Like, why am I sharing my location with you so you can keep tabs on me while you doing dirty shit? Like, it just got overwhelming. Finding cameras in the house, like my daughter be on point like me when it comes to like she don't know yet. Like she don't know yet all her gifts and all that stuff, but I seen her gifts when she was a little girl. Like me and my mom to this day be laughing at certain stuff. But she definitely, mommy got her in training. But she would like during like when close to the end, like she used to always be like, when I come in your room, it feels like somebody's watching us. And I swear to y'all, like, she said that shit, and I just kind of brushed that shit off. Like, listen to your kids. I'm telling you, listen to your kids. I used to brush that shit off. Like, what are you talking about? Like, somebody watching us. It's just us. And she was like, Mom, no, for real. Like, I be feeling like somebody watching us. And some time went by, and like, she kept feeling that shit. And so she literally one day she walked in the room and she was like, Mom, look. And she was like, he got a camera set up. And she was like, I knew it. I could feel it. And I was like, you right. Like, hands down, like, I probably wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see it myself. Like, and I was like, you was right. Like, but that was scary and eerie because it's like, I'm in the fucking house. Like, why are you watching me in my bedroom? So that means you've been watching me, like, even though you're my partner, but it's without my consent. Like, I'm not aware of this. Like, you've been watching me undress and you've been hearing my phone conversations, which I never had nothing to hide from him. However, I wasn't able to have conversations like I wanted to, by myself unless he left the house. So, and literally, like, the people I used to talk to was my mom, my sister, periodically. And I will say this, like, even now that I'm not with him, like, I'm not a big sit on the phone talker. Like, I know a lot of women who do like being on the phone to talk. I go through spurts. Like, my friends, like, we could talk every once in a while and catch up like nothing ever happened. The bond is still there. But I'm not sit on the phone and I talk to these specific people every day. However, I definitely saw a decline in my social interaction with the people that I cared about. And I never felt like I had free space except from when he left. So for him to, take that privacy away from me. So it's just like I am looking back and September was a reflection for me. Like, it was a reflection for me. September was a release for me. I get the chills just like saying that. Like, September was a release for me. September was the month to feel things and acknowledge them, whether they were, easy or not. Like, it was just to face things. And I just look back at the woman who was in a relationship with Dante. That bitch was strong. She was strong. And other people get offended with bitch. I don't. But she was strong. She was a strong woman. I look back, the me now, I hold space for her because I couldn't do that. I can't do that in the current state that I'm in. And I think that's beautiful, but I also hold space for the version of me that loved him unconditionally. Like, I love that man unconditionally. I put him on the highest pedestal of pedestals. And mostly because I always have had a soft spot for black men. I feel like black men have endured a whole hell of a lot. They have had to be emasculated in front of, their communities and their families, and it's just a lot. And I'm talking about slavery. I'm talking about this is generational effects. Then we had drugs and alcohol, which have ruined our lives, like Dave Chappelle said. And drugs and alcohol have ruined my life. Tyrone Biggums. But so then you got that on top of that. So it's just like I've always held space for black men in particular. Like when I say I am a sympathizer for black men, I am a sympathizer for black men. But you know, I ain't gonna even hold you. Black men have hurt the shit out of me. However, I'm still not bitter and jaded. I know that there are good black men out here. I've met them. I have good black men in my corner, and and now I can see it more. But as a young woman, I honestly didn't know what a good man was, if that makes sense. I don't feel like I had many role models to follow as a young woman. Now that I am a grown woman, and I have, you know, experienced different types of people and stuff like that, I do know, you know, I do know that there are real men out there, and you know, I got faith that, you know, God will keep me single. Or either send me somebody that is on my level and equally yoked with me. Um, so, you know, that's that. So then we also had to watch our government basically, you know, unalive an innocent black man, which I want to say pissed me the fuck off. I'm still angry. If you want to talk about grievance cycles, for Marcellus Williams, I am still fucking angry. I'm furious. I have rage. And like Audre Lorde said, I'm not gonna quote her verbatim, but I'll just give you the gist. And you know, like I'm not gonna hide my anger to make, you know, to basically spare you of your guilt. Like I'm not gonna hide my anger to spare you of your guilt. And that's that. So like I just can't do it. And shout out to Audre Lorde, cause it couldn't be no better. Her quote is a lot longer and deeper, but you know, check her out. But I can't do it. I cannot hide my anger to spare you of your guilt. That goes for European Americans. That goes for Europeans, period. That goes for anybody who fucking thinks I'm supposed to be love and light all the time. It goes for anyone. It doesn't matter your race, your religion, your whatever. Like, it goes for anyone. I know I make a lot of content that talks about the injustices of people, and in particular, melanated people. For anybody who is white that follows me, if you feel triggered, you have some healing to do. And I advise you to get to it, because, you know, things can't continue this way. And it is not my job as a black woman to have to worry about your feelings. And I gotta spare your feelings and say fuck mine. No, it doesn't work that way. It also doesn't work that way that I have to educate you on your ignorance. So, you know, we have $1,000 phones that kids in Congo and people, grown-ups in Congo are losing their lives over. They're mining for cobalt. They're being displaced. It's literally a genocide going over there too. So, you know, like, use that goddamn phone that you have and do some fucking research and learn how melanated people all across this world have been colonized, and how, you know, it's a movement to decolonize yourself or get lost. And that's just that. And I've realized in my reflection in the month of September that me starting this platform, I had no idea what it was going to be, how it was going to be. I literally was following the calling. I literally received messages from what I believe to be a voice of God. And And I'm wholeheartedly standing 10 toes down on that. Like, you can call me crazy, whatever the fuck you want to call me, but I got dragged the fuck out of until I answered that call. If you don't like my colorful language, that's another problem that you must take up with yourself. Um, it's not my job to be perfect. I'm not gonna be perfect, and I'm not gonna pretend to be perfect. I am tired. Um, this society and the societal rules just has killed my whole fucking spirit, and I have worked very hard on building myself back up. And I'm just at the point where, you know, the same way I had to build myself back up, the same way I have to unlearn things, relearn things, and continue to learn things, um, has been a full-time job. So I do not wish to go back to being how I was, and I will not allow anyone to. And I definitely feel protected by God and doing everything that I'm doing and saying everything that I'm saying. I never knew that, my voice would be used this way. I literally was an introvert. I was the introvert that didn't even like being on camera. So I would take pictures, but I would never record. I would never listen to my voice. Like, that shit made me cringe. And I got a lot of poems that came to me speaking of all these things. So you'll hear some other stuff in my poems if you do watch this video. I do think that these videos are going to be not necessarily, well, they can be timeless, but I hope that they're timeless. But they're timeless in the sense that this is not still going on when, you know, I would say I will hope these videos are timeless in the sense of years from now, if they become popularized, that they literally, the audience that receives these or look at these are not looking at them because they're still being oppressed. They're looking at them to see how oppression was fought. And they're looking at these videos so that oppression never happens again. We cannot, we can't fight oppression with oppression, but we also cannot allow ourselves to be martyrs in the name of being oppressed. And I say that to say that, self-defense is definitely not violence. Self-defense is survival. And I've been saying this to myself over and over and over again, to the point that it sticks to my soul and my spirit, because it's almost like a sickness or a disease to think that you can fight oppression with peace. And that's and these videos are basically my opinions and perceptions of the life I've lived, and my views and how I view the world. Some of you may get it, some of you may not. I don't care. Who doesn't? These videos aren't meant for you. Move along. But for the ones that get it, I definitely feel like self-defense is not violence. It's survival. It's a must. And I've watched for the last, I ain't gonna even say I've watched for the last time. I watched what happened. I advocated for a man that I didn't even know, and I would do it all over again for even another man that I didn't know. But I definitely was emotionally invested. I had a connection to a person I didn't even know. And I have been grieving that. I have been praying for his family. And I do know that his death won't go in vain. However, it just feels like it's business as usual. We put rest in peace and we keep going. It almost reminds me of how, you know, when George Floyd passed away, was murdered. Let me say that when he was murdered, like, you know, Marcellus Khalifa Williams, um, because we were experiencing CV, um, I think the world was able to stop. I think the world was able to see what was going on. You know, you had Breonna Taylor, you had Ahmaud Arbery, you had so many. You had so many before then. You still have some. You still have some currently. You have some probably that didn't happen today, and it's just not getting publicized. You still have um, the McGee man, who went to North Carolina, and you know he some kind of way, you know, hung his own fucking self from a tree. I still haven't figured that one out. I still have been yet to find any answers that made sense. So, you know, like we're constantly watching this shit, and it's like the more you watch it, the more desensitized you get. And it's like I can't get desensitized no more. I can't become cynical. I can't say that things are just gonna be this way. I can't just say life ain't fair. Like, no, life ain't fair because we are allowing it not to be. Um, Justice does exist, and I feel like October and Libra season is here. The balancing of the scales will happen regardless. It's the natural order of things, and we will get back to those things. So I am mourning the loss of an innocent man. I am mourning the loss of family members, and I'm mourning the loss of my damn dog. Like, I am mourning the loss of the little girl and me who loved the little boy and someone else, and and I too love that person, right? So it's not just that, you know, I think I love him from a different angle than the part of me that loved him that I just had to evolve from. But I love him from an angle that I know me and him share a lot of traumas, and we also shared a lot of traumas within the relationship. So we shared traumas before the relationship, and we shared traumas during the relationship that we created amongst each other. We were trying to heal wounds that, you know, neither one of us created. And, you know, like, I do love him. I do know who, you know, he had the potential to be in. It's like one of the pictures I posted of him. It wasn't one of the pictures. I posted a series of pictures of him on my Instagram, and I played a certain song, and I love music. Music definitely speaks to me, and one of the lines in the song was just basically saying like how, you know, like wasted potential is like the worst thing. Like you hate it, and I also liked the song because it was like, you know, I lived in your truth because you couldn't. Like, you know, so like I just feel like there are parts of me that is evolved that still loves him and still holds space for him and still always will. And that's just 11 years of my life, right? So I always hold space for the good parts in him, and I release the negative. It doesn't mean that those things go away per se, but it just gets easier to deal with. I give it to God. I can't carry it with me. I want, God knows, y'all know, I want to live a healthy, happy life. I feel like I have been through pure fucking hell. Pure hell, different levels that some people couldn't even fucking survive or get out of or come back from. So I feel like, you know, I am in an era of my life where I know what I deserve. I know that I deserve happiness. I know that I deserve someone to treat me right if, you know, I am going to go down that path again. Which I don't mind. Like, I'm not bitter towards love. I just want to make sure that when I do go down that path, you know, like, that I can recognize signs and make sure that the next person is not full of shit or does not come with a set of problems that I've already healed from. So, like, you know, that I want someone equally yoked, right? So I want somebody who knows how to work on their traumas and, you know, have been working on their traumas. And no, you don't have to come perfect because it doesn't exist. And if any fucking man who comes to me with any inkling of them being a perfect person, that's a narcissistic red flag to me, if there's ever been one. But yeah, so like I hold so much space for him and love for him because he definitely helped mold me and grow me into knowing what the fuck I had to figure out. I literally feel like I don't know what to call that journey with him. We used to think it was twin flames. Like one time he had got locked up and I don't know, like we just always couldn't, I don't know. We couldn't. We was different. But we definitely was spiritually connected, and I used to call him my spiritual partner. Like that, literally. Like that's what I used to call him. Like even before we were in a relationship, like I used to be like, "You're my spiritual partner," like, cause like we connected on a whole nother level. Even though I did not like him when I first met him. Once we did connect, we connected. Um, but one of the COs like told him, like, I guess he was explaining to him like we had like an argument, we wasn't getting along, and but we loved each other, so like we always would like come to each other. Like we just couldn't figure out why we would deal with each other no matter what. And one of the COs told him to like look up. No, he actually like printed off some paperwork for him like to like look at, and it was like twin flame journey. So like we always thought like we was twin flames, and I definitely know like at moments like he definitely held mirrors up to me. Some of the traits he had, I didn't have all the traits he had, but some of the traits he had was definitely a reflection. However, when I don't like the twin flame jargon now because it has become so popularized and romanticized that a lot of people think that that shit is rainbows and unicorns, and it's not. um so I always be thinking like, you know, was he really my twin flame, or, you know, was he a karmic cycle? Because karmic cycles can be present somewhat close to that too. So I be confused about it. I don't know if he's my twin flame or whatever, but I'm just at the point where like, God, fuck these labels. Like you know, like I want to accept what you prepare for me. So that's how I'm looking at it. I don't have no Sierra list. Um, I'm trusting God. God, you sent them, cause baby, I trust you. Oh, I always trust my judgment. I do trust my judgment now, but back in the past, oh God, what the hell? It was like the more damage they were, the better it was for me. And it's like now, I remember my stepdad said like a couple of months ago, like, yeah, you can find you a good man out here and build them up. I am not building a bear. My last bear, that was the last one. He was the last bear that was being built. I'm not building no more man. What Frederick Douglass said, he said it is easy to raise children than to fix a broken man. And I don't know if that's the exact quote, but baby, I remember that quote when I was in college and I had met him, and I was like, oh my gosh, like you're so right. Like, so I'm definitely not going the route of, you know, trying to fix nobody in that sense. I am a spiritual advisor, so, you know, like I do have a healing business. However, my philosophy for my healing business is I do not heal. First of all, I give all credit to God and the spirit, and, you know, the stuff that flows through me, that aids me in this earthly realm. So I give credit to God first and foremost. And I allow energy to flow. You know, like God allows energy to flow through me. I feel like it's God's power. And I also feel like even when I'm doing other things in my business, that literally I am bringing you to yourself. I am bringing you to your own healing. I have a philosophy that, like every good healer knows that, like, you can only lead people to their own healing, and they have to be willing and ready. So, saying that, I'm not in the business of fixing. I'm in the business of helping, and you know, that's that. Like, you can break a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, and you gotta know when your assignment is over, and that's just one of the things I just didn't know. So I don't know. I'm still confused about labels and all that stuff as far as me and his relationship go. However, I'm not confused about the love we shared. We did share love. Both of us love from places um, that we knew how, and unfortunately, neither one of us really, knew how to love as properly. I would say a lot of people looked at him as the flawed one, and he was. He was very flawed. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that shit. And but I was flawed too, and I had a lot of different toxic traits, and like I was verbally abusive. It does not come out of nowhere. It's a reactive abuse. So like, if he were to do something to hurt me, my response would be to verbally lash out. And literally, I did not grow up with any healthy forms of communication when I was growing up. It was basically, you get cussed the fuck out. And I ain't just talking about me, I'm just talking about, like, even the adult interaction that I saw in my house, outside. Like, the way problems were solved was, if you got somebody wrong, like, there's either gonna be an argument and a fight. And so I never really knew how to communicate and say, like, you hurt my feelings, because when I would do stuff like that, my feelings would get dismissed, or people saw me for weak. So now I realize, though, those same people that still had that mentality, I've evolved from that. And God has been sending me healthy people that I can feel safe with and communicate with. I definitely had a very disorganized attachment style, so I could shut down, or I could run away, or I could be very anxious and, be too clingy, or be too just anxious in love, for real, for real. So like, mine's was never like, anxious and that's it, or fuck this shit, like, I don't feel like dealing with it right now. Like, mine could flip flop. It just depends on the person, the situation, whatever. Like, and that definitely came from childhood trauma. I definitely, was not always given stability and attachment. I've also learned the law of attachment. Like, nothing really belongs to us. Not your kids, not none of it. Like, these things on the earthly realm are not promised. And the moment that you realize, like, nothing really belongs to you, like, it gets better to think about. None of these things have I mastered. So I say that to say, every day is a reminder. Every day is a learning lesson. And I've been isolated, so it's just still a learning lesson. Like, even without a whole bunch of interaction, I'm still going through, like, little tests and stuff. So every day is a learning thing. And I think the purpose is that you'll never be perfect. Just got to keep going and work on what you can work on. Apologize when you're wrong. Take accountability when you're wrong. That was one of his worst flaws. Like, he couldn't take accountability for shit. Like, and I was his enabler. Like, I never made him take accountability for shit. So, like, anytime, like, he was wrong and he was dealing with other people, like, nigga, y'all wrong. And that's how it was. It's like, y'all wrong. Like, he ain't wrong, y'all wrong. And then I get home and talk to him and be like, you know that was fucked up, right? So Like that's just how I used to have to be like, bro. You know that's wrong. You know you gotta chill. Like, and I mean, he had a heart of gold when he was himself. When he was that little boy before the hurt and the damage and the pain. He was literally a fucking sweetheart. I don't know how many other people got to see that side of him just because of who he was. I don't know if he showed everybody that, but with me, he was like when I would say with me when he was himself. Um, he was a fucking gentle giant. He definitely, he loved hard, like, but when he want himself, oh my god, he was a monster. Like, that's why I said, like, I definitely am gonna write a book, and I said his chapter gonna be, was it a monster until he was a monster? Like, because that's just what it was, and that's how it was throughout my life, right? So, like, with my family members, they were the first people to show me how, relationships would be, and they were monsters. They weren't monsters until they were monsters, and that's how I just look at it. Like, I think that's why I was confused about what real love should look like, what real, friendship should look like, what all these things should look like, because I just grew up in chaos and dysfunction. So yeah, releasing, and I think, that's why I'm talking about it right now, because I am in a position where I can release it. Sometimes my heart is heavy when I talk about it, but it is nothing, and I mean nothing, like what it was at first. At first, I didn't even want to face it or acknowledge it. So, growth. What else happened in September? Broke as shit. That's all us, right? The sad part about it is, like, I'm just so used to, having to hustle and just go it out that, like, it's just, I know that this will not be my permanent situation. That's all I can say. I'm keeping my faith. I'm listening to God. I am keeping my dream and my visions that God provided me in my head. Today I also plan on looking at my vision board once again, checking on things that have came to fruition, and looking at the things that are still in the play. I want to say that October at the end, that the end of October is letting us know that we can reap what we have sown. So I don't know. I've come to the month of October that, like, I just feel like everything all right. Like, with a smile on my face, like, everything is okay. I am feeling like rest is imperative, whatever rest is to you. And I felt that a little bit in September, like towards the end of September, I started to feel like, ooh, I need to rest. I can hear it in my voice. I feel like I just need to rest. And I definitely think if you are a person that uses a lot of mental energy, physical energy, I feel like builds endurance. Like, so when you're doing a lot of physical things, you build endurance to deal with that. Like, and the same goes for like mental energy. Mental energy, if you are one of those people where your wheels spin all the time, like I'm neurodivergent, all that shit, it is so fucking exhausting. Some days. And I'm neurodivergent, and it's like I function, I don't know what you call it. I do know what you call it. I just can't think of the word right now. Having moments. I'm half functional. So, and when I say that, what that means to me is that I am typically the person that does not present like, I'm struggling or there's something wrong, or that I am literally overcompensating to make sure things look right or things are done right, or when I get things done, people typically see me and say, oh, that comes easy to her. But they don't know internally, like, the shit I'm going through to make sure that this stuff comes out right in my mind, right? So I be exhausted. I just be exhausted. So I am taking a break from just trying to do shit right. Like I I'm just trying to get shit, done and done at a pace that works for me. Um that has been a big reminder for me. And when I be saying like big reminder, you can look at it like these have been lessons for me. Um Self-love and self-care. I have been working on just making sure like my environment matches the growth inside of me. Making sure I take care of myself and that match the growth inside. So trying to get this outside to reflect this inside now, because I'm growing within, and now it's time to kind of focus on some of my physical needs and stuff like that. I have been losing weight. I think I'm now down 15 pounds, which I haven't been really trying. So I know if I was to get like super active, like the weight would shed even quicker. But I'm just, trying to focus on me right now. It has been challenging sometimes because, I feel like I lack some of the resources. I feel like I've been lacking fun in my life. Like, it's just but so much you can do to like find out what makes you happy in isolation. But I've been making it work. I went to Five Below and got me like a sketchbook because my sketchbook was in storage and I haven't been down there. I did go down there one time, and thank God I went down there too for something else, but it was pertaining to my mom. But I had intentions on going to the storage unit and getting some stuff out. But I left my keys because I drove her car, so the storage key was on my key, and so I couldn't get in there. And so I, have been just trying to make things work with what I got. I did get the sketchbook, and my drawing needs practice. So like literally when you don't practice, like you can start to lose some shit. Cause I was like, oh, I have built up all this practice to learn, how to draw. And because it's funny because like I was a doodler. Like you can see them little patterns and stuff on her. Like I used to do stuff like that when I was in school. Like I just would do like, I guess like their tribal symbols. But I always would do those. Like I would zone the fuck out while they was talking. And I would just always do little doodles and stuff. And so like that was my form of drawing, was doodling. And I never could draw realistic and all that stuff. So literally after my brother died, like I found a passion and love for like painting and drawing. I always wanted to paint on a better level. And when I say better level, that means painting, period. Because I just never had the real opportunities as a young child. I grew up watching Bob Ross, and I love Bob Ross, rest in peace. But I grew up watching him, and I always wanted to paint, but we couldn't afford the material, so I never got to do it. And then when I got an adult, I was invited to like some paint nights, and I got to paint with acrylic and fell in love with it. I do want to see how I paint with oil paintings, because that look like the techniques are different, very much so. So, it's not just look like, but the techniques are different. The oil painting is that's a different like texture and substance than the acrylic paint. So, and I think with oil painting it takes longer to dry, if I'm not mistaken. So, I would like to broaden my horizons one day, but I can't afford that shit right now. So, I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm just doing things as I feel like. I need to get back on one of my projects that I was doing. I've told some friends about it, not everybody. Some of my spiritual community friends, I told them about it, but I need to get back onto that. But October is just not for me to focus on what I need to get back to. October is for me to focus on what feels right to me, and just being and not having all that pressure. Like September was pressure. October feels like release. October, and then we got the solar eclipse and letting go again. That theme of letting go again, and I think for me the solar eclipse feels like it's more of balancing them scales. Like it's about to be balanced. No, it's not about to be. It is balanced for me. Like um just for me being okay with living in my anger. Like I'm gonna live in my anger. No, I'm not gonna shut the fuck up. Yeah, there is injustice going on. Yes, the systems are fucked up. And I don't take it back. Yeah, I don't want to hear about pro-life if you're going to kill innocent people who already are living. I don't want to hear about it. I don't. And I don't care who comments. I don't care how many videos you've seen like this. And they ruffle your feathers. You're triggered. You need to go fix that shit. Don't comment on my shit. Don't tell me you. I mean, no, I ain't gonna tell you what don't do, but I'm gonna just tell you I don't give a shit. Make your own videos and make your own shit. Like it's easy to be behind a set of keys and get on, use your platform, use your following, and there's so many people who would love to hear about pro-life, but I don't want to, and I'm not going to, because you're obviously not valuing the life that is actually already here. So why are you fighting for the life that could be if you're not going to value the life that's already here? That's fucking hypocritical, period, point blank. This is not about religion. This is not about what when can we say, a baby is a baby. This is not an argument about that. This is an argument about if you're going to say you value life so fucking much that you value life at the point of conception, that you value life even after, even before, it is valuable. Like it can survive on its own, which would mean it's no longer a virus to the woman's body, If you can sit there and argue that life is important, which ironically enough, I'm with you. I agree with you. I feel like pro-life. I feel like it, but I feel like y'all drink Kool-Aid too. So I don't want none. It's just like, I don't want none. I value life. I value little babies' lives, but I also value the mothers who have to bring them into this world. I also value mothers who don't want to bring them into this world because they know that they can't care for them. They know that society are not going to care for them. They know that foster systems have plenty of kids and no one is really, helping those kids out. So I feel like, pro-lifers should put their money where their mouth is, and you should go adopt a child. You should go foster some kids. You should go invest some money into kids who are already here, who need you. They need you to advocate for them. And we also have some grown-ups here who need you to advocate for them. They're already here. Fight for them. And that's what I mean by I don't want to hear any fucking thing about pro-life anymore. And I don't. It's hypocritical. You can't tell me that life is valuable and that life isn't. You can't tell me that you're going to fight for this life that might not even make it through full term, or could possibly take the mother out in full term, or could come here and not be taken care of properly or raised right because of the lack of resources and lack of emotional, willpower to do so. And then they end up in these systems that are broken, and then, we're watching society murder them. No. Nah. Argue with your mama, not me, because I don't care. And that's just how I'm gonna lead that way, because someone wanted to comment and I definitely gave you the respect and politeness, but I literally don't care what you think. And yeah, you shouldn't be trying to convince me or anybody that probably listens to my videos, because most people who listen to me are free thinkers and use their mind for themselves. Yeah. So if I ever was, I was conflicted about pro-life, pro-choice, but I definitely fell on the pro-choice end. But y'all, pro-life has definitely made me fall on the pro-choice and even more. Thank you. And that's coming from a person who was traumatized by abortion. I was traumatized by abortion. That's why I did feel like morally, like, this don't sit right with me. However, I definitely value choice. I definitely value, a woman's rights. And I definitely know what it is to be a single mother. So pro-choice all day long. I don't want to hear about pro-life. If you pro-life, you shouldn't be here on this page, I don't think. And I ain't gonna say that because I know some pro-life people that can be here on this page, but I feel like some of y'all, if you want to spew your opinion at me, like, I don't care. You wasting your time. But type away anyway. I can't control what you do. Only can control what I do. But the same way I'm making these videos and putting myself out there is the same way you should make your video and put yourself out there. And I promise you I won't come to your page and comment on your shit about my beliefs. Like, I promise you I won't. I promise you I can't. I'm too much of a real nigga to do that. So, like, we're going to keep it moving. All right, so I think I'm done with teas and the thoughts, and I got some other content that I want to put out. But let me check. Is there anything else that I wrote down? Because I've been freestyling. Is there anything I wrote down that I forgot to talk about? I don't know. I think so. I think that was it. Yeah. But that's it. That's all.